Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and today we will see one of the interesting topic about AssertJ. Again, if you are not sure what is AssertJ, AssertJ is another library in Java like your TestNG or JUnit, which can help you to write some clean, readable, fluent assertions. Okay, which is not possible with TestNG or JUnit, right? We cannot write fluent assertions. We need to write in a single statements, right? So with the help of AssertJ, we will write more readable assertions. It's going to really help us to write better tests. It also make our job much easy because we're going to write very less lines of code, and it also has some additional assertions which is not actually present in JUnit or your TestNG. It also supports BDD style. If you are a fan of BDD style, you can also still use that. Again, if some library is having so much of features, then we should definitely implement them in our framework. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get started. Again, if you see the pom.xml, I have added there AssertJ core library. Okay, in the dependency. So if you have to work with some date and time, date time related stuff, so then you might need these two AssertJ dependencies. And if you're not going to do any validations with date time or date or time, then you don't need this. Okay, they have additional dependency like this which might help come handy if you're doing some validations with the date. Okay, in your rest assured, maybe we will do a lot of operation string manipulations to perform a single date validation. Okay, but with the AssertJ we can easily do that. Okay, so if you're not interested in that, please download, add only this particular dependency in the pom.xml file. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so this is I have created already created the test with so that we don't waste much time in creating the test. So it will be very easy to understand. So I hope it will be interesting. Now if you notice, I have called a class called assertions. Okay, so this is a class that's coming from your org.assertj core API assertions. So so, so there is a method called assert that. Okay, so suppose if I type assertions dot assert that. Okay, this particular method is having so much overloaded methods. If you notice, assert that boolean, there will be so much of methods with the same. Okay, it accepts a lot of arguments. It has so many overloaded methods. Okay, you can do any such operations with all these parameters. Okay, so here in our case, we are going to operate on string. So for example, we are taking a string as hello world. Okay, if we want to do a null check. Okay, here I am checking whether the string that whatever I have passed is not null. Okay, and then I'm checking for the emptiness of the string. Suppose there is a string called a. Okay, if it is when we will say that it's empty, so we'll say this is an empty string. Okay, this is an empty string, right? And when we say whether a string is blank string. Okay, so suppose say b equal to, this is a blank string. Blank string is not an empty string, but it has only white spaces. Okay, these strings are considered to be blank. Okay, suppose say I pass a here. Okay, instead of 10. So let's try to run the test and see what error message it gives. See, it's telling expecting actual not to be empty, but actually we are this is we are passing an empty string, so this is throwing this particular error. Again, if I pass b here. Okay, pass b, then this is a blank string, right? So it will pass this particular assertion, but it will not pass this particular assertion because it is actually blank string. This has only white spaces. So let's try to understand. Expecting not blank, but was actually blank. Okay, so again, if you are not happy with the default error message what AssertJ provides, like in your TestNG or JUnit, you can add your own custom message. Okay, suppose for this blank one, I need to add another message. Okay, as is the method from where you can give your description. Expecting the string to be to not be blank. whatever. Okay, or you can tell like actually the string is blank, string is actually blank. Okay, so simple reasons. Let's try to run it now. We should see the error message should have updated. Okay, expecting not blank but was. But if you notice, the string is actually blank. This is the description for this particular uh, is not blank method. Again, whenever you want to add a description to your the method or the assertion, you need to provide it in front. Okay, you should not provide after the particular thing. Okay, so this particular as the description is only applicable to is not blank, it is not applicable to is not empty. If you want to add it for is not empty, you need to add another as method, and then you need to pass the description there. Okay, string is actually empty. Again, I missed dot here. Okay, so now all good. Again, you can customize your own message. Again, if you want to, there are other messages like with fail message. You can pass a supplier argument. You can do that. You can use the same thing, or you can use something like overriding error message. You can also pass your supplier. Okay, supplier argument. You can pass like that. So, for example, you can pass. Okay, supplier is an functional interface, right? You can pass something like this, something. Okay, somewhere you can pass something like that. Again, it entirely depends upon your needs, but for now we will just focus on as. Okay, now let me revert this back to temp. We are doing a lot of comparison, but the most important thing is we are not everything we're writing fluently. We are not uh, writing each of the assertions separately. The same thing, if you have to do it in a test ng, we might need to write 15 lines of code, right? But here it just is not null, it's not empty, it's not blank. I'm also checking whether it is equal to hello world, whether it is containing hello. Yeah, it contains a hello. It does not contains hi. Okay, it contains some white space. Suppose if I don't give a white space here, this particular session will fail, right? So these kind of things. Okay, you can do a lot of these kind of validations. Okay, again, if you notice the contains ignoring case. Okay, in testng, in a normal string function, we have only equals ignoring case. We don't have something called as uh, contains ignoring case. But this particular thing is giving us a new thing, method where we can perform containing check with ignoring the cases. Okay, so this w is caps here, but here it's lowercase, but still it will be passed. Again, if you know about patterns, then this matches method accepts pattern. So what I am telling, whatever the string that can be in the front, that doesn't matter, but it has to end with world. So it has to match this particular pattern. Yes, the string whatever we have is matching this particular pattern. Again, we can also tell it does not contain some patterns. The pattern what I have mentioned represent something like digits. The d represents the digits 0 to 9. Okay, if you know what is regex, it represents 0 to 9. I'm actually doing a check like does not contains digits. Okay, this is the indirect way of checking that using patterns. Okay, and then I'm also checking whether the size, the length is 11. Okay, you can also do whether the size is greater than 10, it is whether it is less than 20, or you can also check size is between 10 and 20 if you don't want to write two lines of statement. Again, whether it is ending with world. You can add more assertions if you need. Okay, you can also check whether it is instance of, okay, whether it is an instance of string.class, right? String is a class in Java. You can also check whether it is an instance of that. You can also do multiple assertions. Okay, you can just over here contains only digits. Okay, you can do all these checks. Okay, it does not contain. You can also do does not contain any white space. Okay, all these checks are there. So you have to just explore these methods, and then you can see there is something called as has line count. Suppose if it is a multi-line string, you don't have to count the new line statements. Okay, we have to write a lot of code to find the new lines, but here it's actually it will easily give you the line count if you have multi-line strings. Again, there are so many methods. Okay, whether you can also check whether it's a base 64 string. All these things are there. Okay, you can go and explore. But the one important thing that we need to understand is AssertJ help us to write fluent test and the test what you have written here is more readable, right? So that's what. Now let's see, also see how we can do AssertJ assertions in a integer. Okay, let's assume we have a variable a which is 10. Okay, the same way the assertions is a class from where we have this assert that method. I'm passing the actual value, which is the variable here. I'm going to do assertion on this particular variable. So I'm checking whether it is close to is equal to 10 and it is close to 14 by a offset of 5, which means uh, the condition what I'm telling, it is 10 plus or minus 5. Okay, again guys, I cannot write a plus minus properly, but it means it if the number whatever we are giving here, if it is either 5 to 15, okay, it can be in the range of 5 to 15, you can do all these things. Okay, so if, then it will be a pass. Here it is 14, so it will be a pass. Again, I'm checking whether it is an instance of integer. Though it is a primitive type, it can be wrapped under integer class. Again, is between 3 and 15. It's very easy, right? It's greater than 3 and less than 15. It is close to 12 with a percentage difference of 30. So 30 percentage of 10 is 3. So it should be somewhere around 7 to 13. If the number whatever we have passed here is between this, then this particular assertion will be pass. Okay, in our case we are passing 12, so it will be a pass. The same way is not close to 15, so is close to is not close to. Again, 30 percentage of 10 is 3, so 13, but it is not close to 15. Yes, it is not close to. Okay, so this is also pass. We are checking whether it is positive, we are checking whether it is even, whether it is greater than or equal to 5. See, I don't have to even explain all these things. By simply reading this, you can easily understand what the assertion is all about. Okay, if something is failing, it will obviously throw you the error message. Okay, again here let's run the test and then check whether everything is getting passed. That's the beauty of this AssertJ library. So I have run one test and all got passed, right? So it's as easy as that. So suppose if I say this is a offset of 16, okay, so it should obviously fail. Let's see what is the error message it is throwing. See, expecting 10 to be close to 16 by less than 5, but the difference was 6. Yeah, we have given 6 difference of 6, but actually we are given offset of 5, right? So this is how the error message is going to be. Okay, so it's going to be really easy to understand. If you want to still override the error message, you can do that. Now we'll take an example of a list. If you have some list of strings or web elements, in our case we normally validate a lot of web elements in Selenium, right? So this comes really handy if you want to do a lot of assertion with them. Okay, now let's say I have a list of testing mini bytes, and I also have another list which is having just testing mini, and another list which is having automation Selenium. So again, this assertions is a class, and assert that is a method. I am passing list object here. I'm checking whether it's having size of 3. Again, you can also check whether the size has size, okay, between, okay, whether it is between 2. You can do all these things. Okay, 2 and 15. You can do this. Okay, and I can also check has at least one element of type string. Actually all the elements here is of type string, but you can have make use of this method if you are having a non-generic array, or you are having object type here. Okay, suppose you are having a multiple elements of belonging to different classes. Okay, you can also do that. I'm also checking whether it is not empty, which means the size is greater than 0. Okay, contains testing, whether the element inside at least testing inside this. Okay, does not contains automation. Yeah, because whatever the list I have passed, okay, does not have automation in that. Good. And whether it is starting with testing, see the order of the list is also matter. So you can also do that, whether the first element of the list is testing. Okay, contains exactly in any order. See what I am telling, so don't bother about the order, in any order. Okay, then testing mini bytes is equal to mini testing bytes. Okay, but there is also another method like contains exactly, I think. Okay, if you want to exactly match something, okay, this contains exactly match, you need to pass this exactly in the same order, otherwise it will fail. Okay, So there are other methods like this. Maybe I have just take a sample from each of them, but you can still go and explore. Again, if you notice, I have something called as all match method. What this will do, it accepts a predicate. Okay, so predicate in the sense, suppose if I remove this, okay, you notice all match is accepting a predicate, predicate, right? So what I can do, so whatever the string that is coming, okay, it has to return a true or false now. Okay, what I am telling, whether the length, see, if you notice all the strings, I am checking all the strings whether they are greater than 3. If they are greater than 3, it will be passed. Okay, suppose here all the strings are greater than 3, but I am voluntarily making it to fail. With a fail message of this, here I have passed the supplier. And if you don't know supplier, you can directly pass this. Okay, if you know what is a supplier interface, then you can pass a supplier interface. The thing that we need to understand, that if you have a supplier interface, this particular statement will be lazily loaded, which means only if it is failed, then it will be loaded. Okay, so that's the advantage. So it will not be operated until it fails. Okay, but in the normal case, if you pass it as just a string, then it will be loaded before itself, even though it's fail or pass, that doesn't matter. Okay, so, so we'll have a separate series on Java 8. So how to use lambdas, what is functional interfaces, we have some interesting topics there, we will cover that. But for now, we are focusing more on this. Again, if you notice, I'm also checking whether it the list two, what of the list I have is containing all the elements of list 2. It contains also list 2, does not contain any of the elements of list 3. Okay, imagine we need to assert this with normal approach, we need to write a lot of for, if, loops, and no, all those conditions. But with the help of AssertJ, it becomes very easy. So let's see how the failed message is now coming. Okay, run as test ng test. Again, guys, their AssertJ documentation is very clear. So if you still want to go and see there, you can go see. If you notice, string is not having size less than 3. Okay, this is the overriding error message that I want to provide. Okay, yeah. So this is all about list assertions. Again, we can also explore more. They have a lot other methods as well. And let's go to the map. This is one of the other collection we have, right? We normally use in Selenium. So I have only picked something that we normally use in Selenium. There are other things that you can still go and explore. So you have a map, okay, which having these particular entries there, and I'm checking whether the map is containing the entry name and Amudan. Okay, there is a method called has size, which checks user size. Is not empty, does not contain favorable football. Yeah, it does not have. See, I don't even have to explain all these things. This is more readable, right? It's as simple as that. Does not contain key game. Yes, the game here is having lowercase, but here it's uppercase. So does not contain, it obviously pass. Whether it's containing a key called channel, yes, pass. Contains value cricket, yes. There are 3 values. Cricket is one of the value. This pass, right? So it's as simple as that. So if I run this test, it will pass. Okay. So if I just voluntarily making it to fail, okay, plus change it as, okay, if you notice, expecting testing game this particular hash map to contain a value of cricket, but that is not there, so that's why it's failing. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Now we have seen some interesting topics here, and now let's also learn about soft assertions. Okay, so in TestNG we have something called a soft assertion. The difference between hard and soft assertion is that hard assertions, whenever the assertion fails, your test stops there. Okay, suppose in the last example, if you notice, we have this. Okay, suppose I say a size of 5. Okay, then this particular state, when it executes this particular statement, the assertion fails because it's actually 3. So it will not go and execute all these things. Okay, the same way, uh, but but the soft assertion, right? The everything remains the same. The only thing that you need to do is you just need to create an object for this soft assertion, and then only when you call this assert all, it will actually assert all your assertions. Okay, so to use soft assertions, just create like how we do it in a test ng, but the class name is soft assertions here. Okay, I'm just naming the variable as softly, and everything remains the same. Okay, assert that method is same, everything remains the same. Only thing is you just need to use the variable. Okay, whatever the variable that you have created, and you can just check is not empty, has size, whatever the string operation that you have performed there, you can perform all these things. Okay, but only when you perform this assert all call, all your assertion will be uh, called. Now let's uncomment this, try to run it, and then let's see. So if you notice, hello world is not empty, but it's failing because of something. The expected size is 5, but was 11. Yes, we know has size 5. But if you notice, I'm printing the high in the 18th line, which is actually printed because it doesn't care unless you call assert all. So the high is printed. Only when I call assert all, this is telling, hey, you have some failure where you were expecting size to be 5, but it was 11. So this comes really handy if you want to do some small validations in UI, whether if it is a pass or fail, that doesn't matter, you have to still proceed with the test. Okay, then you can use the soft assertions. Again, if you're a fan of BDD, okay, then you can use the BDD. Okay, to use BDD style of writing in rest assured, we have BDD support, right? The same way they have a class called BDD assertions. Okay, there is a method called then. So whatever the methods that you found under assert, that it will be there. So let me just write it down again, assertions dot then. Okay, the same way how assert that is having a lot of overloader methods, the then is having a lot of overloader methods. Okay, this is not completely BDD, but they are telling it's BDD. So again, if you're not happy with using assert that, then you can use this. Apart from that, everything remains the same. Okay, get all the operations that you can perform in normal style. Again, I speak a lot about these things. I think I have forgot to mention about how to validate a custom class, right? You have some class, your own created class. Whatever these things that we saw all this time is about the inbuilt classes from Java. But if you are having some of your custom classes, then you can also do validation using AssertJ. Okay, suppose I have an employee class here, okay, which is having three instance variables, age, name, and salary. Solving also the constructor with this particular overloader constructor, and you also have some getters. Okay, it's not needed, but whenever I'm trying to create an object for this, I need to pass these three variables. Good. So let's go here, and then I'm creating a new object. Okay, with age, name, and salary. Any age, name, and salary. Okay, when I try to compare it with testing assert dot assert equals, I'm trying to compare employee 1, okay, with the employee 2. Okay, let's try to run this test now and then see what's happening. Again, I need to comment this anyways. But if you notice, we are not interested in this. Okay, but here, if you notice, expected uh, this particular thing, but found this. Okay, this is actually the hash code in a hexadecimal format, right? This is a variable reference. So it is telling when. So if you know what will happen when I call this line, when I call new employee, a new space in the memory will be allocated for this object. So this is object one. Okay, this is object one. The next time when I am calling the employee, it will create object 2. Okay, so each one will have their own instance variable, right? So these two are definitely not the same, but in my case I want to do some validations. Okay, whether I want to check this particular value is equal to this particular value. But if you want to do it in testing, then you need to get the employee object. So how you need to do, assert equals, you need to do employee one dot you know get age. So suppose I want to compare the age, you need to do like this, employee 2 dot get age. So something like this. Okay, you need to use like this to compare. Again, if there are 15 values, okay, I cannot compare all of them like 15 statements I cannot write. Okay, so what this AssertJ does, it is having some method. Okay, this is equal to comparing field by field. Again, this is going to be deprecated. Maybe they will add some new method name, I don't know, but for now you can do comparison. So what it will do, it will compare field by field. Okay, it will compare field by field, and then it will compare with the object of employee 2. So it will compare employee 1 with employee 2 only the fields, okay, not the object itself. Again, it will also do null check. It will also check whether it's an instance of employee class. You can also do as a field or a property name age. Okay, so whether you want to check whether there is an instant variable with the field name as age. Okay, whether the field or property with value name and such in. Okay, you can do all these things. But one important thing that you want to understand is if you want to extract only a set of suppose this object one has age, suppose age one, name one, and salary one, right? Same way object 2 will have age 2, name 2, salary 2. If you want to extract them, okay, suppose here in the employee one I'm trying to, this is the employee object, right? I'm trying to extract the age from it. Again, this is a function. uh, we will see lambdas and other stuff, but for now just understand that we are passing employee and then we are trying to fetch the age from there, and then we are just checking whether the um, it is not equal to 24. Actually it is 25, right? So this will be a pass. Okay. If it is confusing, you again you need to know Java 8 lambdas. So if you notice, function, it is accepting a function where you can play around it. Okay, but just keep it in mind. But whenever we when we cover this in Java 8 series, maybe you can understand it better. If you already know Java 8, then it is much easy for you. Good. There is last session that I want to try teach, which is your date and time. Okay, if you notice, I have created a local date. This is a class that is coming from your jo.time, okay, or .jo.time. So you need to add the dependency properly that I already told. So this is the jo.time dependency that you need to add. Please don't, there is a class called local date and time even in Java class. Okay, don't pass that as argument, it will not accept. Okay, it needs an argument of a Joda type. Okay, good. So here also assertions, yeah, I want to assert, but the thing is I want to import the package from this assertion class. There is another assertion class that is coming from Joda time API, which is actually from this particular dependency. Okay, good. So just make note of all these things so that you can understand it better. Again, you can just check has an year of 2000, month one, yeah, year one, month one, okay, whatever the check you want, whether it is before uh, this particular date. Yes, this is one, this is the day, right? This is month, this is year. So yeah, day is 2. Again, this whatever the value that I passed is before that value. Yes, correct, is before. Even you can pass it in the form of string. This is the beautiful thing about AssertJ. In normal case we need to replace them, we need to replace the hyphen with some other text, and then we need to compare all those stuff. So it's very complicated, but here it makes your job very easy. Again guys, these things are really really easy by just going through that, whether you can equal to, whether it is after or equal to, very very simple, most readable, you can understand on your own. Okay, if you are doing some date validations, please try to leverage this as a soda. Again, they also have a very good assertion library for DB. If you are doing some DB checks, okay, please go and explore it. I'm not going to cover it now because as a test engineers we are not using it much. Maybe if you want to do it, it's the same way like this, so you can go and explore from there official documentation. Good. Now we have learned all these things. Now we want to implement them in our framework, right? That's very important. So let's go to the framework. Okay, I think this is the framework that we are working on. Let me check whether I have added the dependency. See, I have added the dependency even in the framework, so please go and add that in your case as well. Now let me go to the homepage test. So this is the homepage test that we have written so far. Okay, and this is the assertion that we did for the title. Okay, now we go, as we know AssertJ, how we gonna make it much easy. Okay, assertions dot, okay, assert that. Okay, what is the thing that I want to pass? I want to pass title. Okay, what are all, so you can write it in the same line, you can write here itself. Okay, but this is not much readable, so I always prefer writing each of them in one single line. Okay, like this. Okay, first I want to do one. So here if you notice, I am doing a null check here. Okay, so I can do this. Next, what I'm just checking, I'm containing, I want to check whether it is having Google search or capital Google search. So actually what I'm doing, I'm just converting everything to lowercase, doing the stuff manually, right? But here there is something called as contains ignore space. Okay, ignoring case, there I can just pass this, it doesn't matter. So how simple is it? See, next next I want to check for the pattern which is matching this particular pattern. Okay, okay, matches the pattern. Okay, this is the pattern that you want to pass. This is the pattern. It accepts the same parameters, right? Next, what else? I want to check whether the length is between 15 and 100. Okay, has size, okay, between 15 and 100. Again, as I said, if you are not sure about the error message or happy about some error message, then you can add your error message like this. Okay, dot as, you can use with the failed message, but I will use as because it is more like a description. So it will also give our custom message as well as their, their default message. Okay, I don't want to override any of the messages. I want to get more details about it. So I prefer using as. Okay, you can use whatever you need. Okay, object is actually null, or you can I can tell title is actually null. Again, same way for the second one, I want to tell um, uh, it does not contains the expected text, something like this. Okay, again you can add it for, more thing. And one thing you need to remember, whatever you are adding, the description, it's for the assertion that is following it, not the assertion that is before it. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. So now we have done all this thing with a much easy and readable code. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. I have done that. Now the next thing, okay, we want to do assertion, check the links in the page, whether it's having testing many bytes, whether the number of links is exactly 10 or 15. Okay, so to do this, again we need this particular thing, that's fine, but we are doing the assertion like this. Okay, so what I can do, assertions, okay, dot assert that, what are the elements I passed? Okay, that's passed. I want to check has size, okay, 10. That's it. Then what else I want? I want to check whether it is having an element testing many bytes. Okay, I don't care about the cases and other stuff. Okay, so what I can do, so contains, okay, let's say contains. Okay, since this is a web element, right? We have list of web elements. Either what you need to do, you need to convert this list of web element into list of string. Okay, and then you can use operation on that. Okay, so but here, is there any way where I can, directly extract it instead of, doing all the stuff? Okay, because if you know streams and other stuff, we know how to do. But as I already told, we have something like that here. Okay, there is something called as extracting, which is a function, right? Function is an interface, a functional interface in Java 8. From Java 8 we can use that, so which accepts an argument and return you an argument. Okay, so what you can tell, whatever the element I'm getting, I want to get the text of it. Okay, then I want to assert something in that. So what I want to do, I want to tell whether it is containing a string, contains a string of testing many bytes, this particular thing. Okay, that's it. I don't need this whole thing. Okay, here. Okay, now our code much looks, much clean. Again, sonar int is asking me to use method reference here. Again, if you know what is a method reference, you are getting this, element, and then you are converting it directly to the text, right? So in that case, you can directly use the class, the interface, colon colon, get text. So it's a much easier to read. Okay, whatever you feel much comfortable, you can do that. See, with the help of AssertJ, we have made a clumsy code into much readable code. Again, if you notice, there is something that keeps repeating, the assertions, assert that. If you notice, this assert that is a static method because we are calling it by class name with static, this is a static method, right? So class name with the method name. But the thing is, there is something called as static imports in Java, where you can statically import a method. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to statically import that particular method, assert that. Okay, or you can just tell star, so that it imports everything inside assertion class, so you don't need to call this anymore. Okay, we are even reducing the code much. Again, if you're not sure what is a that, so maybe I'll create a new class. Okay, quickly I'll create a class. Let's name it as A for now, and it's having some method, public static method, static, let's say it's a void method with the name of show. Okay, it's a name of show. Now if I go to my home page, if I want to access it, I need to type a dot show, right? I need to tell the class name, and then I need to call the method name. But the thing is, if I go and import it statically, okay, import uh, uh, com.tmb.test, and then I want to import something called as class A. I want to import all the methods inside this, or you can import the show method. It's up to you. Okay, but the thing is, I need to add the keyword static before that, so that we can import it statically. A dot show. So if you import that, you don't even need to tell this. Okay, you can directly tell show. So your Java compiler can directly go and find this particular class under this particular package, and it can understand this is the method that you are trying to call. Okay, so that's what we are using here. We have removed the assertions, and then we have imported all the methods from this assertion class statically. Okay, so that even you don't have to write this particular line of code. Okay, this code, whatever we have written, will absolutely work fine. Okay, I run as stringy test. It'll just check it anyways. Even if it is failed, it needs to fail with the proper valid reason. Okay, so when we searched with testing many bytes, I think it's returning me Tamil many bytes. Okay, maybe YouTube is not ready to accept my YouTube channel. That's fine, but it should have obviously fail with proper error message. Okay, see, it does not contains expected text. Expecting testing many bytes to match pattern Google search. Okay, I think the capital letters, it actually failed even here. Okay, so it actually failed here. So you can fix all these things. Okay, but the thing is, whatever the code we have written is actually working fine. Okay, I think I need to fix that here. It needs to match the pattern like this. Okay, now it will obviously go and fail here because it's returning me testing Tamil mini byte, something like that. Okay, I don't know what is that. Maybe I leave it like that, let it fail. I'm okay for that to get failed. Again, that's all about assertions, AssertJ assertions. So we'll see another important topic the next class. So until then, if you are new to the channel, if you are liking my videos, please do subscribe, guys, so it will motivate me to create more videos. Thank you for all your support. We'll all see you in another day. Thank you.